All right, we are on and we are on live. This is Ryan Lee, and thank you so much for being here. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. We are going to have we're going to change the game. We're going to eliminate all the excuses. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to get down and dirty, and we're going to start generating some income. That's the goal. This is really all about generating income fast. And it's going to be a super, super simple system that I've been working on for months. And you're going to see exactly how I do it. We're going to open up my browser, and we're just going to break this down into 3 simple steps. And that's it. This is about just creating income fast. Again, my name is Ryan Lee. I'm not going to waste any of your time giving an introduction about me and who I am. You could read about me online. That's not the point. The point is, right now, we're here to make you some money. So here's going to be an overview of this training. And unlike most other programs, I easily could have, created some fluff and made this, a 4 or 6 module, 4-week training program and charged, two, three, $4,000. But what I did was I eliminated all the fluff, all the clutter, and we're just getting right to the meat of it. So we're going to do this all in one session. But to make it easier for future viewing, we're going to take little pauses, and I'm going to break this down into 3 steps, and it's going to be 3 videos. So you'll be able to later watch it, because I know it's not fun to watch a 2-hour video straight. So we'll break it down into 3 videos. So it's going to be about creating income and getting to the money very, very fast. I'm kind of known as the guy who creates products, probably the most prolific in an industry filled with entrepreneurs with like ADD who create stuff fast. I'm known as the guy who creates stuff faster than anyone. So we're gonna have fun. You're gonna kind of get inside my brain. We're gonna have some Q&A later. So definitely try to hold the questions to the end, especially as we're doing the step-by-step stuff. We're gonna eliminate all the excuses. So all the excuses that people have for not participating and not creating wealth and income online, we're going to eliminate everything, right? Whether it's you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Simplifying the process, and then we're going to do some real-time demos. And this is pretty cool because I'm going to be launching, depending when you're watching this, a new publication built for entrepreneurs just like you who want to start and move fast, and it's going to be called Start Magazine. And here are some of the upcoming covers. And at the end, when we're done recording, I'm going to give you guys who are on live an opportunity to be on the cover and get a whole write-up about you. So you'll see that's going to be a little contest, but that's at the very, very end of this training, and that's only for the people attending this live. So it's going to be a fun publication for people who are just no excuses, no hype, no BS, no crap, just getting stuff done and being productive. This is what you've been told, right? Everyone is on here. Everyone's taking this program. Everyone's investing your time and money to learn this stuff, and this is what you've been told to create income online. That you've got to have a strong sales letter site or a video sales letter. You've got to have a password protected area to deliver your products. You've got to have a squeeze page. You've got to have a blog and WordPress. And you need plugins, and you need programming, and you need a big funnel, and you need to split test, and you must have a list, obviously. You got to have a virtual assistant. I mean, how many of you have been told this and thought this? And I've even taught a lot of this stuff. And there's absolutely merit to building a business like this. And each of these do have value, and you could make a lot of money. And I've done each of these. However, as I've been on this mission to just really, really just get to the money fast, I think of some of my friends who don't have a lot of experience, and if I say, oh, you want to build your list, they don't even know what I'm talking about. So I try to get to what's the essence of it. How do you get to the money fast with no excuses and none of this stuff? And that's what it's going to be about tonight. Here's the truth, right? People talk about split testing on a landing page. And they talk about all these advanced techniques, and you've got to have a 30% conversion is enough. You've got to keep changing it till it's 32% or 33%. But all that stuff, split testing landing pages and their sales copy and changing headlines and spending $20,000 on a sales page and video sales letter, really doesn't mean anything until you see if your idea actually works. Follow me with me for a minute, okay? So if you have an idea for a product about I don't know, something, some kind of real estate investing program. And you think it's going to work, but it's a unique hook, but you're not really sure. But you spend all this money and time developing products and training programs and modules, and you have all this stuff, right? And then you spend a lot of money on a video sales letter, and then you get it out there and you find out it doesn't work. And then you wasted all that time, money, and effort, and you get frustrated. But if you were able to get that product out fast, that hook that you had, and do maybe a scaled down version, and just get it out and see, okay, this is selling pretty well at this price. Now we can start to invest some time and resources in it as we start to ramp up. And then you can start saying, okay, now let's look at the landing page. We know this is going to work. Now let's tweak the landing page to get those conversions up a little bit, and let's get it going to the next level. But it's all about getting that idea to work first, right? And by working, I mean selling. So you've got to get to the sale. That's it. Period. Everything else is secondary. It's all about getting directly to that sale. Got it? Does everyone understand? Nothing else matters. Now, sure, we can get into the philosophy of, well, what about relationship building? Blah. Yes, but I'm talking for the purpose of this program, it's about getting to the sale. Nothing happens without a sale. You could say, well, I have a list of 10,000 people, and I wrote an email about this recently. Okay, if you owe your mortgage to the bank, go to the banker and say, well, here's a list of 10,000 people. They could care less. It's all about the sale. Everything else is secondary. You got to get that idea working. You got to get that sale. And most people have it backwards. Most people get so fascinated. And here's how I know this. I've done thousands and thousands of coaching sessions over the years. Thousands. I mean, I don't know anyone who's done more in terms of at least the online marketing space. And 80% of the time when I work with someone for the first time, they start asking me the same questions at the beginning. What software do I use? What plugin do you recommend? What's a good SEO plugin? What's a good membership plugin? And that's secondary. That's the last thing you need to be worrying about. The only question you should be asking is, here's my idea. Is this thing going to work? Is this going to sell? Are people going to spend money on it? That's it. That's the only question you need to start with. Everything else comes later. All right? Have I hammered this home enough? So it's about that idea. That's it. And I can tell you what I think is going to be a good idea based on all of my experience and seeing millions and millions of dollars flow through our businesses. But no one could tell with 100% certainty. No one has a crystal ball. No one could tell the future. You can make a good educated guess, but you don't know until you actually put it out there. And even surveying doesn't matter. It doesn't. What matters is people taking out their wallet and spending money. That's the only thing that matters. So what we've got to do first is remove the obstacles. As everyone talks about, the path to success and setting your goals and all this stuff, but there's going to be obstacles in the way. And this is why most people don't succeed, because there's too many obstacles. So let's remove them. Obstacle number one is you and your headspace. So we've got to remove that. Now, this is not going to be a personal development course, right? If you want that, go listen to a personal development guru. I'm not that guy. I'm a guy who's like, what happened in the past, what happened yesterday is in the past. You've got to look to today and to the future, right? So I'm talking about from today. This is the biggest thing I see. The mistake most people are making is they're overthinking things. They're overcomplicating it. They're making it much harder than it has to be. This is something I found online. And to me, you look at that and you're like, what? No wonder why people don't take any steps, because you look at this and it is so overwhelming. And when people come to me like, Ryan, I want to set up a 35-part funnel, and you don't have to start there. I had a conference call recently with a friend of mine, Todd Brown, who's like the master of funnels, and him and I both agreed that you don't start here, right? You start with the one product and the one idea, you get it working, and then you could start to add pieces of the puzzle. And most people try to start here, and it's why they never succeed. They never, ever succeed. So I'm giving you the secret right now. It's why I could keep cranking out products and keep succeeding and having hit after hit. It's because I ignore all this crap, right? So it's not that complicated. You create a product people want. You make it easy for them to buy. You create a no-brainer offer. And with a little tweak, I'm going to show you later what I found to be a no-brainer offer for every product. And the highest conversions I've seen conversions now, I'm getting like 11 and 12% conversions. which is for cold traffic. 11 to 12%. Cold traffic means someone has no relationship with you. They've never heard of you before. Maybe they click an ad on Facebook, and I'm getting up to 10 to 12% of the people buying. In the past, 1% makes you rich. So we're going to get into it. It's going to be fun. And then you want to test it fast. And if it works, then you tweak and then you monetize. That's it. This is the cheesiest line, but you know what? It still works from Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. We're testing fast. We're following the money. The money is making our decisions because this is a math game, right? So that's obstacle number one, is getting over this overcomplication, this paralysis by analysis, this feeling of overwhelmed. Let's just all take a deep breath in and exhale. All right, everyone feeling good? Now, obstacle number two is just that obstacle to getting to that sale. And it's why people don't buy. And there's really three. This is the number one reason, right? Trust. But there's also too much risk. They're just, they don't know you, and if they don't know you, there's too much risk involved. You've got to mitigate that risk, and then they don't feel like there's enough value. Even if it's just, as you say, a $10 ebook, you're not showing that there's enough value for $10. So they don't buy. So we are going to eliminate these obstacles in this program. Here it is. Here's the 3-part simple system. So you can write this down, and everyone on live is going to get a recording of all these videos. You're also going to get all of these handouts as well, all these slides. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, number one is the product. So that's going to be the first video here. We're going to talk about the product, which is what you're selling. Number two is going to be the system, which is how to sell it. And this is where we're going to spend a lot of time doing demos, showing you how this is a little bit different than other stuff I've done. And number three is the traffic, getting the right people to your offer to buy. That's it. We are not, I repeat, not worrying about upsells. We're not worrying about membership areas. We're not worrying about plugins. We're not even worrying about list building right now. We're worrying about product creation, the simple system to sell it, and then getting the traffic. Okay? Everyone with me? Give me a yes. Yes? Hell yes? All right. So here we are. Part one, product. Now, everyone is going to be at different stages. There are some people who want to be what I call the expert, where you're the person, you're the face of the company, you're the person creating the product. And I have my Ryan Lee brand is that. That's me. I'm the expert. I'm the face of the company. We have our health companies, our supplement companies, our fitness companies, where I'm completely behind the scenes and people don't know I'm one of the owners. So different products, different programs. So it all depends on what you want to do. I like to have both. I like to have different sources of revenue and income, but it all depends on you and what your goals are. What I'm going to show you tonight are the different ways to do it, of creating products based on what you want to do, especially if you want to go into different markets fast. So we got to figure out, what are you going to sell? What kind of products can you sell? And here are all the options. And like I said, part two is really when we're going to get into the system, into the demo. So this is, you might know some of this stuff. Some of this stuff I've talked about in the past, about product creation, but just stay with me, okay? Option number one is existing products. Existing products. So that is products that you've already done. And maybe you haven't done products before. Maybe you have products that are unfinished. Maybe you've just been blogging for a long time and have a whole collection of articles. Or you've done interviews with other people, or other people have interviewed you. Or there's compilations of interviews. Or maybe you've done a workshop or events that you've recorded. So there's a good chance you probably have some products that you can sell. A couple of things that I've been testing are products that I've done 1 or 2 or 3 years ago, that I've just, some of them I've refreshed a little bit. Some of them I just do as is. It depends how evergreen your program is. Now, if your thing was outdated and it's how to collect Betamax, probably need some updating. Although I guess there is a market for Betamax and VHS tapes, but You get the point, right? So you always want to look. The easiest thing to do is look within. Is look at your current stuff you've had, products you've started that have never finished, products you've sold in the past, but maybe you just didn't sell that well because you didn't have good marketing down, or your sales letter sucked, or for whatever reason. So take out a piece of paper right now and write down all of the products that you've either created, um, are like 50% done, 80% done, and write that down. So start writing down now the names of all the different products. So if you've done it, write down the name of the product and write done, completed, and or maybe done but needs a little bit of editing and needs a little updating, a little bit, right? And then you write down products, 50% done, 60% done. Write down I've done 30 blog posts and articles. I've written reports. I've written ebooks. I've written whatever. Write down all of your current IP, which is your intellectual property. Write all that stuff down. Okay? So we're going to start there. That's where we start. And if you can get that up, great. Right? Then you just get it up online. I'm going to show you how to do that in the second video. Number 2, now obviously this is going to take a little bit longer. This is creating a new product. This is something you haven't done before, but you have an idea. So, maybe, and I know someone who's on tonight. I just saw him join before. He's in self-defense and martial arts. So I know he's done a product before, and he's tried to sell it, and he sold some, but hasn't sold as many as he wants. So that's more option 1. But maybe he has an idea for a second product. This would be something from scratch that you haven't done before. And there are pros and cons. Obviously, it's great because if you don't have any products, you can deliver a really high-value multimedia digital product. But a con is that it takes time. And that is, remember what we talked about before, that's just another obstacle. That's now oh man, what am I going to call it? What's the hook going to be? How many modules should it be? Should it be 4 modules? Should it be 6 modules? Now it's create power, and now it's 3-4 months or 6 months. This is about creating income instantly. So this is this is the second option. I'm going to show you some other options where we can get products and content done fast, but just put this on the back burner for now. This is not about speed, this one, unless you can do it like in a day. Then great. Here's the nitty-gritty for a multimedia course. This is not a program about creating multimedia courses. I've done other programs about that. But I'll just run through it really fast. If you want to do a really fast one, take your topic and break it down to like the 4 main points. The absolute 4 most essential points. And those are going to be your modules. So if you talk about weight loss, it could be exercise, nutrition, mindset, and I don't know, whatever the 4th could be. Aerobic exercise maybe, or strength training, something like that. Right? So 4 main modules. Create PowerPoints. Record through a screen share, a screen capture video. It could be Camtasia. It could be ScreenFlow for a Mac. It's like $99, and you've got your product. Then you take those videos, you turn them into MP3 files. You take all the PowerPoints and you get the handouts, and you make those handouts. You put them as PDFs, and then you have someone do the transcriptions. And you've got your multimedia product. Another way is to just do a 1-day workshop. Hire a camera crew, go on Craigslist, say I'm looking for a camera crew, 2 cameras for this day, this amount of time. Maybe it'll cost you $800 or $500, and you've got a full day, you've got all the videos, the audios, you've got a high value program now that you can sell. This is a big event that Andrew Locke and I did. We actually rented out the whole Egyptian theater in Park City, Utah, and they put our name on the outside, which is pretty cool. And that was a full workshop. So that could be another way for you to create a product. Option number 3 is to have your product ghostwritten. And this is something, now normally I don't recommend ghostwritten products because the quality can really vary. However, as you'll see on video 2 with the system, especially if you're setting up separate publishing companies, which I'm going to show you how to do, it's actually pretty easy and effective. You can get them done pretty fast, pretty inexpensively. So I've definitely changed my mind on this stuff. What I recommend is you go to Elance, create a post, and I'm going to show you a sample. I'm going to show you an actual thing we created for one of the programs we had written for us. So you want to be very specific on the project. You'll see some of the wording we used in a minute. And as I said, you're getting the handout, so don't worry about trying to write everything down. You could have multiple writers for components. Okay, so don't think you have to stick to one writer. So for example, let's say you want to create a prepper program. Preppers are people, survivalists and how to survive, zombie attacks, right? Instead of hiring one ghostwriter to write the whole thing, you can hire one ghostwriter for a 20-page report on sustainable energy, another person for a 20-page report on, self-defense and ammunition and what kind of weapons you need. Another person could do one about food. Another person could do, shelter and creating your own tents. And another one could talk about money and, all that kind of stuff in the future when the zombies are attacking. So you get 5 or 6 different writers writing different reports. You put it together. Now you've got, 6 different components to your projects. That makes sense, right? Instead of trying to find one person who you're not sure about the quality of, you can get 5 or 6 different people each to write a different part of it. So and I don't see a lot of people doing this. So here was one that we did. A report we're going to be selling soon is called How to Sell on Etsy, right? Because we have some specific target markets that we go after. So we wrote here we had a budget for $50 to $150, and we wrote this is a very straightforward how-to report. You'll research top how to sell on Etsy books and blogs and give a step-by-step practical guide. It must be instantly usable. For example, you can give a brief history of Etsy, why Etsy, how to sell your homemade crafts on Etsy, and then we gave an example. Take a look at this table of contents, and I showed them the Dummies book in Amazon, so they can look at all the great so they let them come up with it, right? We want it in Word, 12-point Times New Roman. We're looking for a long-term writers. If this goes well, there will at least 50 more that will be created on various topics. And we had 16 different people give proposals, anywhere from $50 to $150 on like 20 to 30 page reports. And that was it. This is exactly what we wrote. Like I said, I'm showing you what we are doing in our business. This was it. And we had 16 people just for Elance creating this for me. Remember how I talked about eliminating those obstacles? Everyone talks about I can't create a product, I'm not good, what do I create? I'm showing you how other people can do this for you. This is about leverage. And I'm not saying spending thousands of dollars. We're talking between 50 to 150. And that was even on the higher side. You could have probably done 50 to 100. You could have said a $100 budget. Compare this to most other businesses. Compare this to spending months and months creating products, or spending tens of thousands of dollars on a copywriter, because I'm going to show you how to sell this in a few minutes. Okay? Option number 4, call this 4A, is an interview product. This is where you interview one person, or perhaps they could even interview you if you're the expert. So you find the expert in the niche, and real estate or marketing or weight loss or productivity or just about anything. Record it via Skype. So you can get Skype recorder. You could do it even over there's conference lines like freeconferencecall.com that have free conference call recording. So you could even do that. Just if you're going to sell the MP3, the problem is the audio is not as good as Skype. And then you create a package which includes the MP3s and the transcriptions. And now you've got a product to sell. Now, if you are going to do this, it's obviously much better if you already have a connection with this person, as opposed to trying to go cold. Because then, again, the barriers start coming up. Well, what do I say to them? How do I word it? What if they want this? What if they want that? We do have a course where we teach this on kind of a higher level. But again, it's something that's a little bit different of a step, as opposed to going into Elance and just saying, hey, this is what we want. This is the project, and this is how it's going to go, right? And this is our budget, okay? Then tell them how you're going to spread the word about it, and about them and their product and their programs. And you can, if you want, offer them a percentage. You don't have to. you can say to them, hey, look, I would love to do an interview with you. I'm going to help spread the word about you. We'll have links back to your other products. I only need 1 hour. And if they say you can sell it, there's some people that are totally fine with it. Say, look, go for it. Sell it. I want you to sell 1 million copies of it. You keep all the money. Just get the word out there. So this is what someone did with me. So this guy, John Breeze, he was a coaching client of mine, and he has this program called the 1 Hour Startup. And he said, hey, Ryan, can I interview you about recurring revenue? He did. He got it all transcribed and sells this as a product now. I don't receive any money, but I said, you know what? It's okay with me because you're going to go out there and you're going to start selling it, and you're going to start making some money with it. And you're going to get the word out. The more you sell, the more people are going to know about me and my programs, and maybe buy more of my stuff. So that's just an example of how this works in the real world. But as I said, if we're talking about easy and getting to market fast, if you have something currently, your intellectual property, or you just go on Elance and you're done, right? As opposed to dealing with other people. Option 4B is an interview, more of a collection type product. This is with multiple people. So where you go deep into one market, you could interview them from multiple experts in a niche category. And I'll give you a couple of examples now. Here was a product I did. This was one of the first products I ever did back in maybe it was 2000, 2001, where I interviewed multiple experts. Basically, I asked them all the same question. And this was the formula: how to achieve some type of goal in X number of days. So this one was how to get faster in 30 days. So yours can be, you could ask these experts, how to flip a house in 30 days, how to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, how to create a blog in 7 days. So you'd get on with an interview. It could be a 5 or 10 minute interview. That's it. It doesn't have to be an hour or half an hour or even 45 minutes. You can, if you know some people who are good at this stuff, say, all I need is 10 minutes. We can do a short thing. You get all these interviews, you get them transcribed, and now you've got a multi-person product. And they're not going to receive compensation. You say, look, I'm going to help promote this, and I'm going to get the word out there about you. It only takes 10 minutes. Are you in? And some people say yes, some people say no. Here's another compilation. And this is a book I was featured in, which they had each of us write a short chapter, and it was with me and I don't know, all the, like, Tony Robbins, like all these Brian Tracy, all these big experts were in there as well. And it wasn't a specific how do you do X in a certain number of days. It was just, Ryan, what's your topic? And my topic was, I believe I talked about recurring revenue. And all the different experts, Tony Hsieh from Zappos talked about, customer care, and all these different world-class experts talked about their own methods and tactics. So you can do that. So I'm showing you things you can model to get a product out super, super fast. Option number 5 is reprint and resell rights. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these. These are, a lot of times you'll see these packages, get the resale rights for 5,000 products for like $19. And there's often a lot of low quality stuff. They get ghostwriters, but they don't really check if they're any good, and it's kind of just all cobbled together and not that great. Now, there might be some good stuff hidden in there, some diamonds in the rough, and with a little bit of editing, you could maybe carve out a few decent products or find a few niche products to take out of that huge collection to have one specific area, right? As opposed to this big, massive thing. If you get a package with 5,000 ebooks, but there's 2 or 3 pretty good ones about health, and maybe you found 1 or 2 good ones about how to quit smoking, maybe you can get that cleaned up a little bit and sell that. Just those things. Now, you can find potentially good people with good products, but they're just not selling well. And say, look, I know you have a product. So if you say to me, Ryan, I know you have a product, this one, and it doesn't, I looked, it doesn't look like it's selling that well, or is it selling well? I'd love to sell more for you. Just let me have the rights to sell it. I'll let you see the books. I'll send you a report every month, and let's go 50-50. You have nothing to lose. And let me give me an exclusive for 30 days to try to sell this. Or maybe it's not exclusive. Let me just sell it for 30 days. And let's see what happens. And you never know. I love making deals. It's all about being creative and trying to think a little bit outside the box. trying to think of, okay, what are your strengths and what are some good opportunities out there? And you become more like the middleman or middlewoman. There's a lot of opportunity, and there are hidden gems. Here's one I found: Zen Habits. Right? He even has on his blog. He has a page called Uncopyright. And he says this entire blog and all my ebooks are uncopyrighted. That means I've put them in the public domain and released my copyright on all these works. There's no need to email me for my permission. You may use my content however you want. Email it, share it, reprint it with or without credit. Change it around, put a bunch of swear words, and attribute them to me. It's okay. So this is and he has really good products. This is one of them. He has this product called Focus. So you could buy this book for $10 and then give it away, or you could then resell it. We're talking about selling today, so you'd resell it. So there are hidden gems if you know where to look. Isn't that amazing? So you can have I was talking about get to the market. I mean, you can now take some of these products and talk about productivity or focus or Zen focus for a specific market. So if you already have a market, if you have a market of a specific profession or moms or soccer moms or busy executives or accountants, you can now create a package for them. And you didn't have to create anything. You see why I'm so excited? You see how I'm eliminating excuses, right? And you'll see in video 2 the system to do it. And another option is stuff in the public domain. And these are things that you are able to, just like this other product, you're able to reprint it and resell it and do whatever you want with it. Expire copyrights. Now, I am not a copyright attorney, but here is the research that I've done, and I've done for years. This is what appears to be true, right? If it was published in the U.S. before 1923, it's all in the public domain. Anything published before 1923 is in the public domain. Now, there are some exceptions for people published after that and didn't renew their copyright, were released into the public domain, and I'll give an example of that in a minute. Now, since the new laws went into effect, if it was published in 1923, so this is all before 1923, if it was published in 1923 or earlier, that is going to go into the public domain in 2019. So in 2019, if anything in 1923 and earlier will expire. In 2020, it's anything 1924 and earlier is going to expire, and so on and so forth. So if it was written in 1925, you have to wait to the year 2021 for it to be released into the public domain, and that goes on and on until 1977. So if it was published after 1977, so if it was a book published in, let's say like the 7 Habits, and Stephen Covey passed away a few years ago, the copyright expires 70 years after the death of the author. So if there is a book that was written in 1981 and the author died in 1985, you got to wait 70 years. So that's a pretty long time. If it's multiple authors, you have to wait for 70 years after the death of the last author to be living. So if there are 3 authors and the last one dies, in 10 years, you have to wait 70 years after that death. But there are some other things you could do. Now, with that, here are some examples. If you're in the health market or want to do some fitness stuff, there's so much old school training like Eugene Sandow and the old kettlebell stuff. I mean, look at this guy. This was from like the 1920s and the 1910s. I mean, talk about being ripped like without steroids, right? So there are people that are really interested in this stuff, and that stuff was all published before 1923, and it's yours. You could take it, resell it, and keep 100% of the profits. The original Think and Grow Rich, it was published after 1923, but because they didn't renew their copyright before, I think it was 1940 something, 48 maybe, it was released into the public domain. The original 1937 version. There are people who have changed it and updated it, and then those authors then have the new copyright. But the original version, Think and Grow Rich, you could then resell. And there are thousands and thousands of examples just like this. Here are a couple of places you could find public domain books. Gutenberg.org, dp.la. In Gutenberg.org, there are like millions of them. So go at it, have fun. But this is what I'm talking about, and getting creative and getting products out there fast to generate income. This is all about generating income quickly. There's also the U.S. government, and as you said, I took this directly from a government website. A United States government work is prepared by an officer or employee of the U.S. government as part of that person's official duties. It is not subject to copyright in the U.S., and there are no copyright restrictions on reproduction, derivative works, distribution, performance, or display of the work. Anyone may, without restriction under U.S. copy laws, reproduce the work in print or digital form, create derivative works, perform the work publicly, display the works, distribute copies, or digitally transfer the work to the public by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending. So tell me that's not cool. And the U.S. government is famous for spending a lot of money. They have so many publications that you could then take and resell. So go here. This is a great resource, publications.usa.gov. I have one of my virtual assistants who has been spending hours and hours just researching, and she's already found 2,000 documents for me that we're going to start packaging up and reselling. So look at all the categories: animals, and cars, and computers, consumer protection. So whatever market you're in, if you're in, debt and helping people get out of debt, there's publications in there that you could give out. You can take it and sell as is, or change it around a little bit. So here's an example: people looking for jobs. There's a publication, 12-page publication called Resumes, Applications, and Cover Letters. Now you can order the print for $2.75, but you can download it for free. You could download it for free and sell it, or change it around a little bit. Use examples for resumes. Just showing you all of the possibilities, right? And option number 7, this is a little bit different. This is a continuity program, and I just released one called the Uncluttered Millionaire. And what I like about the newsletter is the big trend right now is simplifying things for people, is cutting through the clutter, which is why I called it the Uncluttered Millionaire, and getting people, everyone's so overwhelmed, just giving them the straight shooting how-to advice in any market. That's what people are looking for, and it's resonating really, really well. And it can be very, very simple. A format of anywhere from 12 to 16 pages delivered every month. A Word doc to a PDF file is just a very simple way to do it. One topic and go really deep, and I'll show you in a sample page from my newsletter in a minute. So one topic and go deep into it. I don't recommend creating 7 or 8 different columns and having little tidbits here and there. I'm talking stuff that's going to be a little bit more premium priced, anywhere from $20 to $100 a month. Mine is going to be $140, but I have people in the original group at a discount from that. And we've had a lot of people sign up already. So here's a little screenshot from one of the pages, and you could see I use that font purposely, the Courier font, to make it feel just simple and clean and uncluttered. And I got so many compliments on how they loved how simple and straightforward it was. You didn't need, and I don't recommend adding all the videos and all that other stuff with this newsletter, because everyone's doing that. So it's a way to stand out from the crowd, saying, hey, look, everyone's doing that. There's all this noise. Here's this simple solution. It's a 12-page newsletter. Look, there's so much information about whatever it is, stock investing and health and parenting, and this gives you the best of the best. So now that we've got a lot of ideas about products, what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the recording for a minute now, and we're going to go on to the next video of part 2. So just hold on one second.